Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Droid Live Show, episode 42, sort of a pre-Thanksgiving get-together. Just Tim and I today. Tim, you want to say hi real quick?
Hey, how's it going, world? Tim here.
Yeah, so we thought we'd just kind of get together and talk. Well, I haven't seen you guys in a while. Tim saw you last week with a little special Tato show with MKBHD. Nice of him to stop by and help you guys out last week. But yeah, I haven't seen you guys in a while, so it's kind of good to be back, and we wanted to just talk about some big things that are happening or have happened this week anyway, like our Nexus 5 review's out now. We have a site redesign, if you guys didn't notice. Some other stuff, too. We ran a poll to see what everyone's phone they're rocking. There's obviously a bunch of holiday deals. Some sort of breaking news, actually, for this out of Cyanogen, where they had to pull their app from the Play Store, which is interesting. So anyways, a few things to talk about. We're not going to go too long. We want to let you guys get out of here and sort of get on with your long holiday weekend. But let's talk about this site redesign for a few minutes.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, so if you guys have been to the site on, mobile device, tablet, phone, computer, anything, you'll notice we have a giant new site design, essentially, site skin. So lots of things there. Our big idea was essentially to make things, big and bold and beautiful. We want it image heavy. We want everything to just sort of stand out a lot more than it was in the past, but we also went with a responsive sort of web design. So if you're on, a tablet or a phone or your computer, the site sort of just adjusts to whatever screen size you're on. So if you're on a mobile phone, you automatically just get a mobile version. You don't have to toggle a mobile version. We don't have a dedicated mobile version like we did in the past. And by the way, we did have a mobile version in the past.
We've had it forever.
Yeah, we've had it forever. You guys just probably didn't really know where it was. But anyways, you don't have to worry about that now. If you're on a mobile phone, it shrinks down to match your screen size. If you're on your tablet, you get a different layout because it matches your tablet, all that stuff. You can flip, a tablet landscape to portrait, and you'll probably get a different size too. Obviously, on the desktop, a big change. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It's I would call it a pretty new school site design. We also, though, are still open to feedback and suggestions. So, we created this website with our partners at Cooley Creative, and, this is sort of our vision of what we wanted, but we still want the site to work for you guys as well. So we've obviously opened up to feedback. We're already making changes, shrinking fonts and stuff here and there. We're adjusting some of our image stuff. We've changed the header a little bit, although things like that can still change more. And big news. Is this breaking news, Tim?
This is breaking exclusive.
We're moving the post titles back above the images, in case you guys were concerned about that. Yes, I think we do. That just deserved like a round of applause there.
Well, maybe. To other people who are just like the end of the world is happening, but we kind of liked it. That's why we went with it. So.
Yeah. So one of the big changes we did, right, was we put the images up top because we wanted it to be image heavy, and then we went post title, and then we went body of the post. And a lot of people just said, why did you guys do that? Everyone else in the world puts titles first, then images. So, we listen to you guys, and probably early next week we're going to put titles back up top. So hopefully that makes you guys excited.
If we get any more emails saying, I'm leaving, I'm just going to be over it.
Yeah. So yeah, making changes. We're trying to, make you guys happy. So anyways, the new site, it's there. We hope you guys like it. So far, the feedback we've gotten is pretty positive, other than the title thing. And some of you guys, if you don't have, a monitor or something with a really high resolution, things do look maybe a little extra big. And again, we tried to sort of plan for the future, if you will. And, displays are getting higher and higher resolution. So, like on my iMac, I think everything looks really nice because it has a really high resolution. I can understand if you have a lower resolution, it might look a little sort of big, and you might not be able to see as much. We're working on stuff, so we'll leave it at that. But anyways, it's there. Yeah, lots of stuff going on. We're pretty excited about it. I think it looks really good.
I think it's the best DL has looked in all the time that I've been reading it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, there's lots of hover actionable items and just some little details we've changed here and there that look really nice, I think.
Yeah, little things here and there is what makes it all come together.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, keep the feedback coming. Make changes as we can. So want to talk Nexus 5 a little bit? Finally got the review out.
Yeah, that's only a month late, but yeah, it was good. it was healthy. It was a healthy review.
It was healthy. So, in case you guys don't know, I was out for essentially a couple weeks. Welcomed in first child, so the review was a little bit delayed there. It's out now, and I'll just say Nexus 5, it really is a pretty damn good phone. There's not really much I don't like about it. Initially, Tim, you might feel sort of the same way. The battery life and camera were a little shocking at first. They were really the two sort of sore points. And then going from a Moto X to it, the size difference was a little bit. I had to get used to that. But the battery life seems to have warmed up. My phone now lasts, anywhere from 12 to like 14 to 16 hours sometimes, depending on how much Wi-Fi I'm using. So the battery life's now not that big of an issue. Obviously, it's not Note 3 or G2 level. So the only sore spot for me in the review, and yeah, I was pretty harsh about it, but the camera on the phone it's not good. And we don't know if that's a sensor thing or if that's a software thing. I'm leaning towards that being a software thing that Google can fix. And we know they're working on some new API with raw images and all this other stuff. So maybe that will. Maybe. I don't necessarily know that that's going to adjust how the phone takes pictures, but we're hoping. So I really like the phone. At $350, I mean, you cannot beat the price of this thing. I just really wish the camera was better. And so, I mentioned this in my review, but, I have my first son, and I like to take pictures of him constantly. I'm one of those weird parents, Actually, I think all parents probably do that. And I can't, I've had to use either my point and shoot or grab my Moto X or another camera that takes images quickly, because the Nexus 5 camera takes about 10 seconds to focus on anything, if it can focus at all. It's kind of been frustrating. So, I don't know. What did you think, Tim? You've had a Nexus 5 essentially as long as I have. What are your sort of thoughts on it?
Pretty much the same thoughts. Everything you pointed out in the review was pretty much, my feelings towards it. The battery got better. I've noticed, at least over time. Now, it's lasting me a good solid day, whereas before, maybe like last week, it was only lasting me maybe, 3/4 of a day, half a day maybe, with heavy usage. And clearly we use our phones all day long. So, we aren't on LTE. Of course, we're kind of on our Wi-Fi in the cave and all that, but still, it's good to have the battery be a little bit better than it was before. Camera is just still the biggest pain point for me. Camera's garbage.
It's garbage.
Once you actually take a picture and it's in focus, it's good. The quality is okay. Saturation is, I'm glad Ron's not here because I like overly saturated crap.
I do too. See, I do too.
But either way, it's just a pain to focus. And even other like the third-party camera apps like Camera Awesome, which I think you're going to be talking about, it doesn't really help. When you go into, say, just focus, it kind of goes in and out, and then it ends up not being in focus, and so you have to tap again, in and out, and then once you do get focused, you have to have HDR plus on, or else the picture's going to look crap. So it takes like an extra 3 seconds for the whole image to process. And then it takes a second for it to finally be done and then go to the gallery. I mean, the entire picture taking experience is effed. So
it is.
They need to do something about that. And someone in the chat says, "Dude, get a Note 3." And yeah, I mean, of course, I've had one of those sitting around for a while, but I want to be playing with like the newest and latest and greatest. Like, I don't want to have to use one phone just for one particular feature. Like the Nexus 5 all around is an ultimate Android device. I mean, it's super fast and it looks fantastic. I think it's sexy, but it's just the camera sucks.
Yeah, for me at this point, that really is the only negative thing I can really say about it, is that the camera, and I think it really can work, because the focus thing, that's got to be, well, I guess you did say that if you use a third-party camera app, it doesn't really help that much. So I'm still hoping it's a software thing, and Google can, in the next update, like 4.4.1 or something, push out a camera fix. And apparently they're working on something camera related. At least that's what they keep talking about. I really hope it is, and I saw somebody in the chat mention this, but they're wondering when I was going to do a post about Moto X or Nexus 5 kind of thing, and I'm still going to try to do that probably, even though tomorrow's a holiday and Friday is still kind of technically a holiday for a lot of people. I'm going to try to get that out probably around Friday, just because, in a topic we'll talk about in a little bit, the Moto X is dropping to Nexus 5 price on Monday. So
it's so important to have like the two phones side by side, because, especially at the same price point, off contract. I mean, this is like the ultimate showdown. I almost feel like, and both are like Google phones essentially.
Right, pretty much. Yeah.
So I think it's, and for anyone that's on Verizon, this is a huge deal, because if they want to keep their unlimited, or, if they're coming off of the Galaxy Nexus and all that, and they don't want to stay with grandfather data, then they got to jump on this Moto X deal and get it off contract.
It's such a good deal, yeah.
And 400 for 32 gigs, like the big boy, like that is, and the Moto Maker. I mean, come on, this is, if you don't jump on this, you're like
stupid. I'm thinking about just ordering another one, just to like order one to make another custom phone.
Exactly. I don't think they have an orange color, do they? Orange would look sick.
I don't think they have orange. There's an accent maybe that's kind of orangish, but I don't think a full back orange.
I didn't want to make like a super girly one, white front, pink back with metallic blue accents. It kind of looks like a cotton candy phone. It looks so sexy. But as I've told a million times, I'm waiting for wood.
You are.
I'm not buying a Moto X until wood drops.
Yeah, I'm looking at the colors. Yeah, there's no orange.
Yeah,
there's like a maroon and a raspberry and cherry, but no orange.
Yuck.
Yeah, you're waiting for wood, so.
Wood. Gotta have wood.
I know. See, now that you just brought that up, I kind of am waiting for that too. But part of me just wants to make another one, just because it's cool to like make a custom phone.
Yeah, you should have a ton. Just get like a big rainbow Moto X thing going.
Just grab a new one every day for my outfit or whatever.
Exactly.
Actually, so we had a reader. I had an email conversation with a reader today that on the back engraving he put Nexus X on his phone, which I thought was kind of neat.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. But so yeah, I'm gonna try to do a write-up on Moto X versus Nexus 5 kind of thing, because during my review, or when I was doing my testing of the Nexus 5, especially the first week, because battery life was bad and then the camera was terrible, I was telling you, Tim, that I was like, I just want to go back to my Moto X. I want to go back to Moto X. I miss that phone already. Then the phone kind of warmed up and I kind of got used to it, and I switched back to the Moto X for a day or so. And then, like battery died on it, so I picked up the Nexus 5 and was using that for a while. And now I don't really know which one I prefer, to tell you the truth. Like the Moto X still feels better in hand just because it's smaller. But the Nexus 5's display is pretty damn good. And because it's so almost edge to edge, it actually doesn't feel really huge in hand. And it just feels good because of that soft touch back. Because you and I both have the white one. That soft touch back feels great. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I'm gonna have to do some deep thinking when I go into this sort of battle between the two. If you asked me a week and a half ago, I would have told you to go buy the Moto X over the Nexus 5 any day. Now I don't really know. I'm kind of on the fence a little bit about it. So it's gonna have to take another day or so for me to really come up with an idea there. But
I think it just depends on the person. People that complain about their battery a lot, or say, oh, my Android device doesn't last me full day, I would have to go Moto X just to make sure that they get like a good experience. And the Moto X has a whole bag of tricks, that the Nexus 5 doesn't have. But then again, Nexus 5 has stuff that the Moto X doesn't. So I mean, not much, given that the Moto X now has KitKat.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's hard to say.
Later too, but
yeah.
It is hard to say, but the one thing I do, so if I'm using the Moto X for even 5 minutes, and then I have to go do something on the Nexus 5 or something, and I pull it out of my pocket, the first thing I do is look at the screen and I go, why aren't you turning on? Because the Moto X, you pull it out of your pocket and it screen's on. It tells you like the time if you have notifications, and you pull that. So that active display thing, I can't give that up really. That's one of that, and that might be the tipping point right there is the active display. Like,
yeah, once the wood backs come out, I can't wait to have touchless display again. Oh, that thing, it's so beautiful.
It is such a good thing. Yeah, wood backs. So wood backs, what's the update on that? When are those coming?
Apparently it's gonna miss this, shopping week. But we could see it in time for the holidays. So who knows? People are saying in time for holidays. People are saying before the end of this year. And so there's just no confirmation. All we know from a Reuters reporter is holidays.
Okay. That's too bad. I was hoping they would have it out by now, but I guess they just barely kind of have Moto Maker everywhere on all the carriers, right? It's only been a couple of weeks, so.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like, why, everyone's already buying the phone. Like, if people wanted wood, I mean, that's like anything, though. Like, a phone is released in a color, and then a month later they release it in another color. It's like, just give us the options to begin with. I understand it's wood, like, they're working with a raw material.
Right.
So, but it's still lame for consumers who are waiting. And yeah.
And they better not do an exclusive deal with anyone
With
for the
AT&T
wood.
or some crap. Oh, that would be ridiculous.
I'll be so mad if they do something like that.
It'll be Sprint, if anybody. It's exclusive to Sprint.
It's their exclusive. Yeah, I think like AT&T had the exclusive on Moto Maker, and I think Verizon had it on KitKat Update, even though that was only like a 2-day head start. And then, maybe Sprint will get exclusive on the wood. They'll sell like 5 of them then. No one buys Sprint phones, do they?
No, they can't.
Yeah, they shouldn't. They shouldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
So Nexus 5, our review's up, and we both feel pretty good about the phone. It's it's Google's best Nexus by far.
Definitely.
It's just the camera needs some work, and we think they can fix that. It doesn't. I don't really feel like they cut a lot of corners. When you talk about that price, you kind of wonder like where they had to cut corners at, and
well, they did it on the speaker. And
okay,
they did
the speaker.
It,
the speaker is pretty.
So terrible.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the speaker and the camera, like software, I don't think they really cut too many corners.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's KitKat and.
Oh, it's KitKat.
Yeah, actually, so
ceramic keys. I mean, what other phone on the market has ceramic keys? This is glorious.
I will say, and since you brought those up, they are some of the best feeling buttons on any phone ever. Because they're kind of sharp, so they're there. Like sometimes I just find myself rubbing my thumb over them just to feel the sharpness. I don't know why that sounds kind of weird, but they actually press really, really well.
Yeah.
Like HTC has the worst buttons in the industry. They put those buttons up top and stuff, and you can't even feel if they're pressing.
Oh, they're just way too flush.
Yeah, they are. But these things are really nice.
So the One Max has outrageously flush keys.
And those are on the side, though, right? They actually move those to the side.
Yes, they are on the side. But, when coming from the One, the issue is on the top of the One Max, it has that IR blaster in the same exact spot that the power button was, and it looks like a power button.
It does.
Except, I mean, it's probably the worst phone ever.
Hold that up to the Nexus 5. I want to see.
It's not too crazy big or anything like that.
Jesus. It fits inside the screen of the One Max.
Definitely. Yeah. Pretty ridiculous.
Wow.
It's massive. I mean, whenever I go out and take it outside, I have to put it in my back pocket because it doesn't fit in my front pocket. Like, you can't walk normally with a One Max in your pants.
I don't know how you can fit that in pants. Even like normal pants, I don't know how you could like fit that thing in there. That thing is atrocious.
Oh, it's monstrous.
Like I feel a little bit bad for you that you have to like carry that thing around.
Well, it's what I did notice is that Sprint, so it has the I'm gonna space on the name, Sprint's LTE stuff, the Spring or whatever.
What is that called? I always want to call it Sprite. It's called Spark.
Spark. Thank you. Yeah. So and it actually like works out here. I was at the gas station.
Really?
And I saw the little Spark logo. Although when you're consuming data with Spark, it has the Spark logo in the top, kind of where your 4G LTE logo is, and it spins. And it looks very weird. I'm gonna try and like get a video of the Spark logo just spinning. It's like a wheel, and that just seems like a waste of resources, basically.
Spark speed test.
But the speeds were actually really good. It was actually insanely good. I posted them on Twitter, and everyone was like, "No way, is that Sprint network?"
Yeah, I think we need a Spark showdown on the site at some point.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading an email. This is great podcast. Somebody says that the white LG G2 on Verizon drops Monday, in case anybody was interested in that bad boy.
Monday!
I'll look into that further after the show. Anyways, so Nexus 5. Oh, what I wanted to bring up, the other thing, like a week ago, some guy emailed us and said, is the Nexus 5 really running stock Android? And his argument was that it's running this Google Experience Launcher, which is an exclusive. So technically, no, right? I don't want to go as far as saying like the Nexus 5 has a skin on it. It is kind of though, right?
It's running exclusive software technically.
Yeah.
So in essence, I mean that is kind of a skin because Sense is exclusive, TouchWiz is exclusive. So where's the boundary? Where's the line? So Nexus 5 is not stock Android because if you download from AOSP, you're not going to see what's on the Nexus 5.
Yeah, you're not getting that GEL on the So Thought that was an interesting point, though. No one's
So,
brought that up, I don't think, anywhere that I've seen, but I thought
yeah,
that was
no
an
one really
interesting
talks
point.
about it, probably because it's kind of one of those points where it's like, Google said it's going to be an exclusive launcher, so they're
Yeah.
just kind of like, meh. But people say they want stock Android, and that's not what they're getting. So,
No, technically not. Technically
no,
not getting 100% stock. You're getting a third-party launcher.
unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, so earlier in the week, or yesterday actually, I think, we asked everyone what their current phone was. So we do this a couple of times a year just to kind of gauge audience and sort of, where we can take our coverage. We want to make sure we're talking about the phones you guys are using and all of that stuff. And in May, we asked everyone, I think the Galaxy Nexus was still kind of dominating. But we decided to ask it again this week since we're looking at almost every phone now is essentially out for the year. Like, I don't know that anything's necessarily coming out in December that we know of. Nothing's on our radar anyway. But so, we've had Nexus 5 come out, Moto X, obviously, Note 3, G2, well, the one's now on Verizon, obviously the new Droid brand, or the Max Ultra and all that stuff. So we asked everyone, what's your current phone? And, we had a bunch of people, as the Nexus 5 was sort of creeping up on launch day, saying we're dropping Verizon, we're going prepaid, hello T-Mobile, all that stuff. And, so this was kind of a way to see if people actually stuck to that. And it kind of looks like they did. In the poll, the Nexus 5 is now in the lead, just over the Galaxy. People still hold on to that G-Nex. But the Nexus 5 at 12% of the vote. So you can see how everyone's really getting spread out now with the phones they're buying. Rightfully so, there's a ton of good phones out there. But the Nexus 5 already jumped up to top phone on the site, which is, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little surprised at that just because it's not on Verizon. But
Yeah. Yeah, and well, given our site, it's just a bunch of Android fanboys. So, they come from all places. It used to be a very Verizon-centric place,
Yeah.
I think, but we're seeing a little bit more people.
Yeah, it's
But
changed a little bit.
when you talk about a year of fantastic cell phones, 2013 has been it so far. We got some sweet devices. LG has become a maker. A couple of years ago, you would have asked me if LG was making Nexus devices and phones like the G2 that I actually wanted to use. I would have said, oh, hell nah. But no, I've been super surprised. Samsung had some good phones. HTC, I like the one. I like all these phones. I would use all these phones as daily drivers if I had to. There's nothing wrong with any of them. Well, maybe besides, I wouldn't use a Droid Mini or anything like that. But
No.
other than that, the S4, the X,
It's
Note
it's
3.
been a hell of a year for phones. I
I
have,
agree.
so when Amazon did that price screw up a couple weeks
Oh, yeah.
ago, and I bought 3 phones for $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
I bought a couple of G2s. Here's a Verizon one, and because I don't really have a Verizon phone that I'm using right now, so I threw my SIM in here to actually get some use out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this phone, I really like this phone.
Yeah.
Even the back buttons now, during the review, I was kind of critical of that and the glossy, crappy plastic. The buttons don't even bug me as much now. Once I picked it up again, just the glossy, crappy plastic does. But the phone in hand, the G2 is an awesome phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got a buttery smooth display.
It does. Yeah.
And the camera, of course, is fantastic.
And it's so fast. And when you just go from, and I know this is kind of a silly test to do these days, when you go from screen to screen, just on the home screen flipping through, there's no phone faster than the G2. It's so snappy.
It's snappy.
But yeah, the Galaxy S4. So I picked up, I have the Google Play edition, and I picked it up because got 4.4 yesterday or something like that, and was holding that in hand. It was God, this phone feels really good in hand too. The Galaxy S4.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Note 3, and I know we got a lot of Note 3 cult members.
Yeah,
it's just too big. It's just too big for me, but it's an awesome phone. I wouldn't tell anyone not to buy the Note 3. If you want a giant phone, that's the phone. It's awesome. So
it's a good one. I guess the One Max is the only phone from 2013 I'm really not feeling.
Yeah.
One
Max.
It's too big. Note 3. This thing puts the Note 3 to shame. I got the Note 3 too, and it's taller, and so you can't really see too well.
Look at that. That looks like a Galaxy S4.
Yeah, exactly. It's way bigger. So yeah, you have the whole speaker grill up here, which is bigger than the device, and it's wider, and it's it's heavy as hell.
It's not even Beats powered anymore.
Nope, not Beats powered. I mistakenly said it was Beats powered in my hands-on unboxing exclusive tutorial video, but it's not Beats powered. And the audio sucks. There's no equalizer throughout the entire device. So if you go under sound, you can't change any sound settings. If you use Google Play Music, there's no equalizer under there like there usually is on all other devices.
Mm-hmm.
HTC screwed up.
How did they not, since they got out of the whole Beats partnership, how did they not build in some sort of their own equalizer?
Their own equalizer. I don't know. They couldn't take 15 minutes to code something in, I guess, or
Yikes. And that's running 4.3?
4.3.
Since 5.5?
5.5.
Okay.
Which is okay. I mean, it's got like the pull down and all that. It's fantastic. Fingerprint scanner's ridiculous. I said this on the Tato show, but I mean, the fingerprint scanner's right below the camera, so when you go to swipe, you're swiping. Hello, camera grease. Like,
yeah.
It makes no sense. Placement. It's too big. Who's using this thing?
It doesn't even work, right? The fingerprint scanner doesn't work, right? I mean, you have to get your finger just right and swipe down.
Yep, swipe down. It definitely works. If you only had to place your finger on it, that wouldn't be too bad. But given you have to swipe down and already use like 2 hands to use this phone, if you use 1 hand with this phone, you're going to drop it, and you're going to be out $300 on contract, or, unless you got, warranty or insurance or whatever. But still, nevertheless.
And that's how much it is, right? $299 on contract.
$299 on contract. No stylus, no nothing.
Nothing. There's nothing like big phone specific, right? There's no like multitasking or anything cool, or
there's no special software to take advantage of the big screen.
Unreal. Okay, so that is the worst phone of 2013, probably in terms of flagship style, because it's supposed to be kind of a flagship.
It's supposed to be a flagship phone, and not feeling it.
Thanks. But looking at that poll again, Galaxy Nexus, you G-Nex owners are crazy, man. 2 years deep with that thing. Don't get me wrong, it was a sweet phone for about the first year, but it slowed down. That OMAP processor in there. You guys have all got to have some upgrades. So
they're waiting to try and find something off contract so they can keep their unlimited data, probably.
Yeah. We'll talk about the deal. The deal in just 1 second.
Yeah.
So Galaxy S4 then was number 3 on that list, and then Moto X jumped up already. So a lot of people bought the Moto X. A lot of people still own the Galaxy S3. Then the Note 3 and G2 were in there as well. So yeah, you can see how it's getting spread out. There's just a lot of good phones, but yeah. So let's talk about that. So G-Nex owners, you guys need a new phone, and yeah, if you're waiting for something off contract because you don't want to lose your unlimited data, the Moto X deal on Monday is. I don't know how anybody can pass this up. So it's what? It's 150 off full retail. So you're looking at 350. So same price as the Nexus 5, but we're pretty sure it's every single carrier, right? There's no limit on this, is there?
No, they didn't say that there was any particular carrier or anything like that. This is the developer edition, Moto Maker, anywhere you can buy it full retail.
That's crazy. So personalize the perfect gift, 350. It does say limited quantity, so you can't go buy 10 of them and try to get rich on eBay or something.
It just says limited quantity, not that you're limited to buying a certain amount.
Right.
I mean, they're just saying, hey, so while supplies last, basically. I mean, they don't want to.
Yeah, that's true. That could be. So it lists T-Mo, AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint. So all of them are listed. And the developer editions are apparently it's such a good deal. So yeah, if you've been holding out looking for an off-contract phone so you can keep your unlimited data, there you go. Monday, Moto X.
If they had the woods, I'd be jumping on it, but nope. I'm gonna remain patient and let everyone else snatch them up for $350.
Oh, and that starts at 8 a.m. Central Time, by the way, on Monday, which is 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Central Time screws me up. I can't ever figure that one out.
Central Time? Why the heck would they put it Central Time?
Because they're in Chicago, yeah.
Oh, man, that screws everybody up.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's 9 Eastern, and then it's 6 a.m.
6 a.m. Pacific. Yeah. Don't even get me started on Mountain Time. What the hell is Mountain Time?
Hey, I grew up in Mountain Time, right? I'm good with Mountain Time.
Well, what is Mountain Time?
It's an hour ahead of us.
Ahead of us. Okay.
So right now it's 4:45 Mountain Time.
Gotcha. I've never been in Mountain Time before.
Ever?
Never.
Ever?
I've flown. I have, it's one of those flyover times.
Yeah, it is.
Fly over it and don't even think about it.
There's not a lot in Mountain Time. So I'm from Montana, right? So Montana's in Mountain Time. I think Wyoming is not a lot to see there. Colorado, I think, is in Mountain Time.
So they got Denver. All right, so Peyton Manning is in Mountain Time. Shout out to Peyton.
Your boy Peyton.
My boy. Mm-hmm. Super Bowl bound. Just kidding. Not Super Bowl bound.
Yeah, they just got spanked by the Patriots the other day. But
yeah, that was pretty cool.
So other deals, since it is Black Friday, well, this isn't Black Friday, but today Staples has $50 off tablets that are 150 or more. So it's today only. So if you want a tablet like the 2013 Nexus 7, go buy that today. Staples for like $179 for the 16 gig. So it's a pretty good deal. There's some other things out there. AT&T's got a bunch of good deals. We got a post at the site. You'll have to read through it. There's like 50% off phones, free Moto X, no Moto Maker, but free Moto X on contract.
On contract.
Yeah. So speaking of holiday though, our coverage tomorrow, obviously everyone's on a holiday, so we're not gonna be around. You guys shouldn't be on the site anyway. Friday though, we'll probably be posting up deals and stuff. It's probably not gonna be a lot of news, but I'll be hanging out anyway with you guys.
Little things here and there if needed.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. So I listened to part of the show last week. So if you guys talked about all the 4.4 updates.
We didn't really dive too much into it. I mean,
yeah. So Moto X, I thought it was pretty crazy that they got 4.4 last week. Was it last week or the week before the Verizon one got it? It was last week, like Monday?
It was last week.
Okay. So out of nowhere, right? And the Nexus 4 didn't have it yet. A bunch of the Nexus 7s were supposed to have their OTA, but I think Google found a bug and pulled it because they sort of changed that. So we got Moto X 4.4. Nexus devices all now have it, and then the Google Play edition. So 4.4 came out fairly quickly, which is, I don't know, it's cool. It's good to see updated phones already.
Motorola's dropping bombs. My brother's rocking a Nexus 4, and he was like, how is it that my phone does not have KitKat yet some Motorola device, is rocking it? And he upgraded to the Nexus 4 from an HTC Evo, and I don't think that thing is getting KitKat, but
no.
The point is, he noticed. I mean, he is a Nexus owner, and he noticed that he was not running KitKat, and he was pissed. So I had to calm him down.
Yeah. Nexus owners were so mad, rightfully so. You have a Nexus, and it's only a year old. You should be getting updates, but I think Google they obviously found a bug or something because they pulled all those initial updates.
Yeah.
It's blown up. They pulled all those initial updates for that and the two Nexus 7s, and then they re-released them with like KRT 16S or whatever the new build was. So yeah, Nexus 4 owners were not happy, especially when all that Moto X stuff came out. It was ugly. It's ugly.
Nope, I agree. Something must have been something to do with the radios or something because. I mean, yeah. So who knows? But pretty crazy. I think it was great. I think it's fantastic. I mean, having a consumer device that's not a Nexus, getting KitKat before Nexus devices.
Less than 3 weeks after Google announced it. That's insane.
On Verizon.
On Verizon.
Like come on, we.
Something weird going on there. Was Verizon like loosening up here? Because the Galaxy S4, their version got 4.3 before anybody else did as well.
They can't
Not that it got it really fast, but
right. They can't be loosening up too much because we still don't see like Nexus 7 LTE activations going down or anything like that. So there's still tightwads, but maybe they're loosening up a little bit.
Well, so that's what I want to know. Like, I made the comment about AT&T had this exclusive on Moto Maker. Then all of a sudden, Verizon's like, yeah, look, we got KitKat, though, for our version of the Moto X. So is Verizon now, like, buying exclusive early updates? I don't know that they could actually do that, but all of a sudden, Verizon's like, hey, Galaxy S4, we got 4.3 first, way before everyone. Moto X, they've got that first. And they've, in the past, forever, been the slowest carrier to update anything. So something to watch out for. See how Verizon doing this.
Exactly. No, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, let's talk Moto G just for a second, because this phone's on our radar just because the price point is so crazy. So for those not familiar, Moto G is Motorola's new affordable phone that it's $179 off contract for the 8 gig version and $199 for the 16 gig version. No LTE in it, but there's a GSM version that obviously works on HSPA Plus, which is plenty fast for the most part. And it's over in Europe, I think already. In UK, you can go out and buy it. And then it just launched this week, sort of out of nowhere. Kind of surprised us a little bit. In the US, at least the GSM model, there's going to be a prepaid CDMA version that will go to Verizon and stuff. But again, no LTE, so you don't really want the CDMA version. Essentially, what I'm saying. But this HSPA Plus version, we'll have one. We should have 2 actually within the next week. So we're gonna give it some play, see what it's like. But it's like 4.5-inch HD display. It's got Qualcomm's Snapdragon 400 quad core, so it's obviously not super powerful, but it's still a quad core, and it's their, part of their new line. 5 megapixel camera, which probably won't be any good, but it should be just like a little bit smaller Moto X. Not quite as good as specs, but for somebody that needs a cheap phone that doesn't want to go either sign a contract or do any of that stuff, something you should consider, especially with all the like new backs you can swap out on it and stuff. I don't know.
If you could do that on the Moto X, that'd be sick. But yeah, it seems like a decent little phone. I mean, I remember when the first like leaks were coming out about it, I was like, oh, we will never talk about this thing.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? But with the price being off contract, I was like, oh damn. So Motorola's doing big old things. I mean, it's a race to the bottom now, and for consumers, that's legit. So.
Yeah, I hope Motorola can, start making money at some point, because with phones that cheaply priced, I can't imagine they're making much off them. But it's a cool, for like you said, for consumers, it's a really cool thing to see phones, and especially like how they're dropping Moto X to that price off contract, and then with this Moto G is that cheap. That's awesome for consumers. It gets people out of contracts and ridiculous carriers that we all hate. And you get good phones, so pretty cool stuff.
Oh yeah, for the old consumers out there, it's a win-win.
We love consumers.
Unless you're all about specs and you gotta have the top, but.
Yeah, well then you're gonna be signing contracts.
Yep, and dropping wads of cash on phones.
Seriously, unless you get in on those ridiculous Amazon deals and buy. I bought a Note 3 for like it was like $299 or something off.
Like that's a fantastic deal, and I appreciated Amazon starting to honoring the deals and going on because they were canceling that stuff real quick. But there's like that. There's people out there who jump on that and then they go right back to the internet saying, "Oh, I got this brand new unopened device," trying to sell it at like almost full retail, and I'm like, "Come on, you just bought it for $200. Like, don't try and that's rude." So if you got yourself a brand new phone off of Amazon, I'm happy, but resellers be damned.
I know. You know how many of those went up on eBay though? Those Note 3s.
Oh man, come on! Yeah, those things.
$400, yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But hey, good on you. Yeah. Good on you.
So let's talk quickly, and I haven't had a chance to read this. I know you did, but within the last hour, Cyanogen. Well, there's not CyanogenMod anymore. There's Cyanogen Inc. Right? So Cyanogen Inc. said they had to pull their installer from Google Play because it didn't necessarily violate terms, but it kind of did. But Google sort of said, this isn't right. We're probably going to pull it just for safety reasons, maybe. I don't know. You read this. How did this all go down?
So the Cyanogen installer, I always thought it was CyanogenMod installer. Because the ROM is called CyanogenMod, right? The company is Cyanogen.
Yeah, the company is Cyanogen Inc. But the installer is whatever.
Nevertheless, regardless, I digress. So the app, Google Play hit them up. They were like, well, so the app is not malicious. It doesn't violate the terms of service to, throw in an app on Google Play, but it did violate developers' terms because it led developers to unlock their bootloaders, download potentially harmful third-party software. And Google's not about that. They aren't trying to have people have a bad time on the mountain. So they asked them to pull it, and they obliged, and they said, yeah, for sure. So they voluntarily removed it, and here we are. And I've been like, didn't they see this coming? Like no one at Cyanogen Inc. who has, now has like a $7 million investment in them and stuff. Like no one wanted to read, through the contract and say, here's what we can and cannot do, or no one has a relationship with the Google Play people. Like, hey, here's what we're doing. Is this cool? Like. Yeah. I just don't, and people are trying to relate this to like, well, what about apps that require root and all that stuff? I mean, to me, it's a completely different thing because those apps aren't leading you to install third-party desktop software, that has to do with ADB and all this like hackery stuff. I mean, people who don't know what they're doing could really, end up being screwed by this stuff. And I think that's what Google's trying to avoid. They're not trying to shut out third-party developers altogether. They just want to make sure people are safe. So I'd say good on you, Google.
So update to the post. Google, So Google PR just hit me up because
Oh,
There
crap.
apparently was a mischaracterization in Cyanogen's initial post, and so they issued an update, and it says, update, removed reference to Google stating the app was not in violation of terms of service. This was a mischaracterization of Google's statement. So in other words, it was in violation. Their app essentially was in violation, and that's now
Interesting.
been yeah, so that's all happened while we've been on the air, essentially.
I
So
say good on you, Google. Like, keep it up. Keep those users safe. That's all I care about.
it's when you look at it like that, it does kind of make sense. Like, you are installing third-party software. It's not just an app that's like accessing your dialer or something, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's changing your phone completely.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's just coming across. But yeah, apparently the update says removed reference. That was a mischaracterization. So
Not our bad. If a CyanogenMod's bad for
yeah.
saying what they said. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No,
Wanted to
Google just
clarify.
reached out to us to be like, hey, we just want to make sure you guys saw that they updated their post.
Good. Yeah. Well, thank you, Google. Again,
Yeah.
good on you.
And Google also said they think our new layout is pretty sweet. Thanks,
Oh,
Goose.
thanks, Google. Good on you. That's like my new. I want that to be like my new catchphrase. Good on you, Google.
Good on you, Google.
Cool.
Anyways, that just happened.
That's
You want to
great.
talk a couple of apps or something, and then we can sort of wrap up and let you guys all get on with your holiday
Go
weekend.
get some turkey.
Go get some
Yeah,
turkey.
totally. You're listed first. Go for it.
I am. So I downloaded Camera Awesome, which I believe was a really popular camera app for iOS, and it's now within the last couple of weeks came to Android, and I put it on the Nexus 5. I believe it's like $2.99 though. It's not free. It's like $2.99. But it's essentially, like a superpowered camera app. I don't know if I could pull it up.
Sorry for my typing.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry. I feel terrible.
I like playing with my phone. So anyways, Camera Awesome.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, the only thing is it's like totally looks
Exception.
like an iOS app. Like, it hasn't been rethemed to match.
It's been
Actually,
ported.
yeah, it hasn't even been rethemed to match iOS 7 or anything like that. And so it just
There you go.
looks. Oh, you have it too.
Yeah. This is funny.
So yeah, it's kind of ugly. I'm not gonna lie, but I've been
Oh,
playing
it's
with it,
bad.
and it works okay. But yeah, like you mentioned earlier, it still has focus issues. But it does allow you to change it to tap the screen to take a picture, like the Moto X, which I really like. So you can take quicker pictures, assuming it focuses. But it's got some ways to like lock focus and things like that, which is cool. It's actually a really nice camera app. I just don't know that it works that well with the Nexus 5. Although they did issue an update, I think, yesterday that was supposed to fix bugs with the Nexus 5, so it should be getting better. And the other app then was Google Newsstand. I don't know if you guys talked about Newsstand last week, but
Briefly.
yeah, so Google Newsstand is their essentially their new news reader that replaced magazines. It replaced magazines, right? So it replaced magazines, but it still has magazines in it, but it also brings in currents. So like you can find Droid Life on there because we're in currents and stuff like that. So you can find news that way. You can just find hot topics that are trending and stuff. It's kind of like their version of, not like Pulse, but kind of, it's like their version of like a new newsreader, since they killed off RSS. It's them like gathering what they think are hot topics and stuff. It's a really well designed app. So if you want to just play with a cool app that's like a Google's new school version of Android design, it's kind of it. It does some like a really cool animation where if you're looking at, like, say, Droid Life's feed has our logo at the top. When you scroll down, it kind of does this animation where the logo goes up to the top. It's really cool. So anyways, yeah, it's a really nice app. I've used it a little bit. I still like RSS apps better, but it works pretty well. So yeah, what do you got?
What do I got? What do I got? I got Sonic Dash. Oh, sweet. So Sega launched Sonic Dash to Google Play this week, and I said it in the post. It's essentially Temple Run, but with a character that you care about, and a non-boring character. Because the Temple Run guy, I don't even know that dude's name, but everyone knows Sonic. So essentially, it's just like an endless runner. You're going through loops and collecting coins naturally, like Sonic does. He's a coin hog, and that's about it. You can spin and jump and dodge, and like essentially Temple Run, but with Sonic. So Sonic Dash, free to download. It's actually kind of fun to play. Not kind of fun. It's pretty fun. But I played it for like 10 minutes, and it's kind of like those games aren't really to my liking, just because once they start getting fast, I just get frustrated. I'm like, oh man, this is annoying.
You just give up.
Yeah. So Sonic Dash, try it out. If you're a fan of Sonic, you won't be disappointed.
Wait, is this a new game they developed, or is it something they ported over that's an old school game?
Uh,
Or did
I'm,
they just make one that copied Temple Run because they have
yeah, I'm
Temple Run
pretty
stuff?
sure this is brand new.
Okay.
There was that Sonic Jump one, which was kind of lame, actually. I was like, how do you make a Sonic game lame? And they did it. It's Sonic Jump.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I'm not really a fan of the All-Star Racing game either, but that's just me. I know plenty of other people love that All-Star Racing. So,
Oh yeah. Speaking of racing, when are we getting Angry Birds Racing Go or whatever? Wasn't that supposed to be out by
Angry
now?
Bird. Oh yeah, I thought that was interesting. I guess I'm probably before Christmas, I would think, but I thought it was supposed to launch in November.
That's what I thought too. I wonder
We
what
haven't
happened
heard
to
anything. Maybe they kind of delayed it. I don't know.
that. Maybe.
Well, it'll come out tomorrow, I'm sure, right at dinner time.
Right at dinner time. You're right. It probably will. Just like embargoes.
Oh yeah.
Um, cool. I don't really have much else. Oh, the
Someone
new
wanted to talk
Series
about.
4. Oh.
Oh, that too. I was gonna say someone wanted to talk about Google Wallet cards real quick.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Google Wall cards. I don't have mine yet. Did you get? You don't have yours.
Of course
either.
not. No, I'm
Yeah.
still waiting for it. But people are getting them.
People
So-
are. So yeah, Google Wallet card. We stumbled on this through a reader on. Was that Monday that happened?
Yes.
And yeah, Google Wallet all of a sudden is now making cards where they're essentially a debit card. They're not a credit card. And you can load up your Google Wallet account with a balance, cash balance, and then use your Google Wallet card, and it's a MasterCard essentially, and pay for things. So it's kind of cool, if you don't have a KitKat device that would allow you to, use the new host card emulation or whatever it's called.
And
So yeah, so you've got a Google Wallet card. It's kind of a cool idea, but I don't know that it really. A few months ago, there was this rumor or a story that came out that we were going to get a Google Wallet card, and it was going to allow you to attach to any credit card and then just use it as your one card. So you could
Primary
ditch all-
card.
Yeah, and then that's not what happened at all. It's just a
No.
debit card now. So
it's kind of useless because, I mean, essentially you have to transfer money from whatever source you have to
Right.
the Google Wallet account, which doesn't really make sense to me because if I already have a debit card, then why do I need the Google Wallet card? It
Right.
looks sexy,
It looks
and
like
that's
a
pretty
cool
much
card.
the only thing I got, it has going for it. So
Yeah.
I'll transfer in like $50 and go to McDonald's here and there, but I'm not going to use it as my primary card.
No,
So,
definitely not.
It's just not.
Especially now that we all have KitKat devices that you can just use Google Wallet anyway. So
Of course.
I guess if the place doesn't have tap to pay.
Yeah, a lot of
Terminals or
places.
something.
Yeah, I'm seeing less and less NFC terminals. So I mean,
Really?
sure, Starbucks still has them, McDonald's probably still has them, but they just weren't widely adopted. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think like Whole Foods I think has
okay,
them, but
Whole Foods,
most
they're a bunch of
groceries.
pretentious people. I don't, who's
Well, I
shopping
know,
at
but I'm saying like they're the only one. Like I was gonna say like grocery
Yeah.
stores should have those things, but
Yes.
I think Whole Foods is the only ones I've seen it at, and yeah, I rarely go there. So
Exactly. So far, they're none in Fred Meyer. You guys have Fred Meyer up here. We don't have those in California, but
what's your big grocery store chain in?
well, it's
California?
mostly just like Safeway.
Oh,
And
okay.
like a Safeway on every corner down there. We have Albertsons, which I've seen up here too,
Yeah, we have those here.
but it's mostly just Safeway down there. And
Interesting.
Winco's,
Okay.
only in Northern California though.
Because yeah, Fred Meyer's like the big deal here. They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, we don't have Freddie
I
Myers.
feel
down
like we
there.
have way too many grocery stores in Oregon. I know this is completely off subject, but we have Fred Meyer, Albertsons, Safeway, Winco, Whole Foods, Zupans, New Seasons.
Oh,
Like,
man.
the list just like goes on and on. There's
Zupans
probably
is
more
pretty good, though.
because there's those they're like budget markets. I can't think of what they're called, but there's like a bunch of those things too. I can't think of their name. There's so many grocery stores. Who would have thought?
Who would have
Like
thunk
we have strip clubs and grocery stores. We're like the capital of the world for those two things.
it?
So yeah, Google Wallet Card. Those things are rolling out. A couple of readers actually got them. We haven't. Even though
Lucky
Tim and
you.
I think we're the first people on Earth to order ours.
Pretty
'cause
much.
Before we
We
even
broke
posted
the
the story.
story.
Yeah. Before we even posted that, him and I ordered ours, and we still don't have them.
So frustrating.
Yeah. But the other thing I was going to say is the new. If you're into the Android collectibles, the Series 4 box sets, blind boxes, and all that comes out Friday. So if you want in on those, it's probably the coolest set yet. Everything, each little individual guy has like an accessory and stuff. So that's 11 a.m. Eastern Friday. So if you want those, they'll probably go fast. So if you want to get in on that, don't forget to do that.
That sounds like a work expense. Definitely hopping on that.
It's definitely a promotional work expense. So yeah, that's about all I got. You got anything else you want to toss out there?
No, I mean, just have a fantastic and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. There's plenty to be thankful for.
Definitely. Have a
USA.
great,
USA.
safe holiday weekend. Thanksgiving is always a good one because you get that Friday. If you have Friday
Exactly.
off, it extends like a 4-day weekend. It's always a nice
Oh, it's
weekend to sort
beautiful.
of unplug before Christmas rolls around.
Yeah.
So sweet. Well, thanks for joining us on this sort of impromptu early DL show. But it's good to be back. And yeah, big things happening on the site. Anyways, keep the feedback coming on the new site design. We're reading it all. If we don't get back to you, we're reading it. Trust me, we're reading it all.
Trust us,
So
we see it all. There's
even
not one
the
comment we don't see.
yeah, even the anonymous assholes that just want to be dicks, we see those too.
We see you too.
Yes,
And
we
you're
see you
getting
too.
banned. Don't worry.
No, you can come back because you'll come back.
Maybe. If I allow it.
Anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. Droid Life Show, episode 42. The books. Have a great holiday.
Peace.